You absolutely have to love this. You have to love this. The murderous usurper, Jesuit, Pope Francis is now telling people not to argue with the devil. He's much more intelligent than us. And he goes on to break this down. The devil is much more intelligent than mere mortals and should never be argued with, Pope Francis has warned. Satan is not a metaphor or a nebulous concept, but a real person armed with dark powers, the Pope said in a forthright remark made during a television interview. He is evil. He's not like mist. He's not a diffuse thing. He is a person. I am convinced that one must never converse with Satan. If you do that, you'll be lost, he told TV 2000, a Catholic channel, gesticulating with his hands to emphasize this point. He's more intelligent than you, and he'll turn you upside down and make your head spin. He'll always pretend to be polite. He does it with priests, with bishops. That's how he enters your mind. But it ends badly if you don't realize what's happening in time. And I'll leave the rest of this if you want to read all of this, but I find it really, really, really strange that this comes out right after we hear the people in the artificial intelligence and quantum computer fields all talking about summoning old ones beyond demons, so forth and so on. And we're hearing this from a bunch of people that sit in front of a throne that looks like this. This is the papal throne. Now, how in any way in the world should this belong in a building of holy men? This looks exactly like what it is. This is nothing more than demons ripping out of the earth, out of the shale, hell, whatever you want to call it. There's no two ways about that. This is incredibly demonic, and that's just basically what these guys do. Not a big deal. None of this looks like anything spiritual, uplifting, or godly. None of it. And now, for whatever reason, the Pope has decided to come out and say that Satan, the devil, is a real person walking amongst us and we should not converse with him. What a strange thing. What strange timing. And I mean, don't let it bother you that this is the papal throne. You see what I'm saying? How crazy is this? This looks nothing like this. Look at this. This is it. I'm almost speechless here. It's all demons. It's because that's what these people are. And I could go on and on and on with all the creepy stuff, including the Lucifer room in the Vatican. But I digress. And what could be more Christ-like than having an enormous obelisk sitting directly in the center of the keyway of the Vatican? And yet there it is.
It really did take my breath away, since what was revealed was this right here. That is a giant, massive reptilian face shaped into the direct architecture. Everything from the slits in the eyes to the scales to the fangs, there was no mistake about it. But what's behind this hinted symbolism? And what can we see or glean if we dig deeper? Well, number 4, look at where the Pope is seated. We see him here from the back of the hall, that is in fact seated in the mouth of the serpent or reptilian. In the very mouth. This is symbolic of the Pope being the voice of the serpent, in fact speaking the serpent's words to the audience. This might well shake your faith, that is if you're a Catholic, but here you can see it in plain view. Clear symbolism, clear evidence that something here is extremely wrong. This image hasn't been photoshopped. This is real. This is built right into the architecture that was designed by those within the Pope's inner sanctum. But there is more symbolism. For this though, we have to go outside. Number 3. Do you see anything strange here? You're looking at the hall itself. Do you see anything weird? Well, if you look carefully, it looks like the head of a giant snake. Can you see it now? In fact, it's almost unmistakable. You can see the snake's muzzle at the front and you can see its eye. It just looks like a snake. To me, this is yet more connective symbolism that what's going on inside matches the outside. Because since here we can see serpentine architecture with ease. Number 2, let's head back inside and look at what the Pope himself sees. If the Pope is seated where he is, what does he see? Well, he sees a giant serpent with eyes once again. The audience is symbolic of almost the serpent's meal, and the Pope is not preaching to the audience under this symbolism, but the giant god-like reptilian creature himself. Why? Because this is what the Pope sees. Can you imagine that when they were designing this, that they designed this all by mistake? That this is some kind of high anomaly? No, because they spent literally years on the designs. They definitely would have known what the Pope would have seen from where he was actually speaking. Also, what the audience was seeing. So this is very strange, and it raises some serious questions. What is going on in the hall? Number one. But the biggest clue, the biggest symbolism that tells us something is really wrong here is in fact what is missing from the hall, not what is inside it. Do you know what that is? Here is a clue. Now, think of the heart of Christianity and think of what symbol it has, and think of what you do not see in this hall. You do not see any of it. That's right. There is no Christian cross. There is no cross in the entire building, at least no large statue, wall hanging, or anything. There's no other real Christian symbolism either. There's no Virgin Mary, there's no Joseph the carpenter. There is indeed nothing anywhere. All of these symbols are missing.
But again, Pope Francis frequently refers to the devil in his homilies, sermons, and on Twitter, where he's followed by 40 million people in 9 languages. He uses various terms to refer to the Prince of Darkness, including Satan, the evil one, the seducer, Beelzebub, and the great dragon. It's a Jesuit thing. He's a Jesuit who is deeply imbued with the spiritual exercises of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, which allows people to discern the movements of good and bad. Yeah, those Jesuits, they're known for their goodness and kindness and so forth and such. For instance, let's take a look at the Jesuit oath right here, because this just goes on and on and on. You have been taught your duty as a spy to gather all statistics, facts, and information in your power from every source, to ingratiate yourself with the confidence family circles of Protestants and heretics of every class and character, as well as that of the merchant and the banker. So basically be whatever face you must be, no matter what, to get what you need to do. And that would explain why suddenly Pope Francis popped up out of nowhere and he's now the Pope. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you continue to read this, you know, this right here is taking it easy. This is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But hey, at least he's warning you that the devil's a real person. I just find this very, very, very strange timing. At any rate, Richie from Boston. Links will be in the description. This is something you should pay attention to, or don't.